What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the single player Let's Play series. So, I guess we're at episode 16 now, I think. And yeah, so I wanted to get started with today's episode by doing something about this. Remember this from last episode? We have a sorting system. That's pretty cool, right? But, no, not at all. We do, but this is not what I consider acceptable. This is pretty terrible. So we want to get today started with an Ender IO painting machine. Now this guy is a pretty straightforward recipe. Last time I checked, yeah, it seems like it's still the same shenanigans that it used to be. So we're going to need some of that silicone that we were making last episode. And we're going to need, let's see, some coal for some coal powder. So in between episodes, I haven't done much of anything at all. In fact, I think literally the only thing I did was expand the little bedrock area that I made for getting the infinity dust, or grains of infinity, and I got some more grains of infinity, and that's basically it. Aside from that, I literally haven't done diddly squat, which is probably a good thing, because the Let's Play series is meant to be shared with you guys. So yeah, we're going to get ourselves a couple more steel here. We need to get some of this industrial powder coating as well. I need to also see what's up with that recipe. In different series, in a different series, I've seen that recipe yield 6, but for some reason mine's yielding 1. So, let's see. We're just going to need to grab some of this electrical steel. We need to get some more of that powder coating. So that means we need a bunch of dusts of a bunch of things and a simple machine chassis. So we need to get an ink sac, quartz powder, ender dust, lapis dust. So 4 of these, 2 of these, 2 ender pearls. Good thing we have a decent bit of those. I'm going to have to start grinding for those again, especially because while Peaceful Surface is a useful feature as far as not getting mauled at night, it's definitely going to cause some problems when it comes down to needing mob drops. So it doesn't cause problems per se, it's just definitely a bit restraining on that front. So we need to kind of figure out what we're going to do about that. We might set up a mob farm soon using some mod stuff. We'll see how that goes. We needed grains of infinity and some steel. So we're going to get ourselves the machine frame here. And we're going to need an ink sac. Now we can go make a whole bunch of random dusts. Should set up a crafting station over here, or one of those crafting table things from forestry, the ones that retain their inventory and store the recipes. They seem pretty useful. And now we just need quartz and diamond. So now I think we should have everything we need for a painting machine. Boom. And I'm just going to grab some flux ducts and head on over. So with our flux ducts here, we can set up I think I'm just going to set up the painting machine right here with our other machines. Maybe set it up here in the center, though. So we need to make a capacitor, per usual. So let's come over here and grab... fortunately, I've already got some energetic alloy, and I've already got a pulverized coal, so I think we already have everything we need. We just need to grab some gold nuggets. I'm actually finally running out of gold nuggets. That's nice. And so now if we go get a double layer capacitor, we can go get single layers and double. Boom, there we go. So now we have a capacitor in this guy. The painting machine is really cool. The list of recipes is very vague, but I'll explain kind of the things that you can do with it, and maybe it'll make more sense. So we're going to make a bunch of conduit facades, because obviously we have a bunch of conduits. I don't remember how wide I made this. Looks like 11 blocks, so we're going to need 11 conduit facades. And the nice thing about this is it doesn't consume the block that it's mimicking. It just consumes the facade. So, if you watched my last season, then you already know how these work. But some people are new, so, of course, you know, always worth explaining this stuff again. So, we can come through here, and you'll see that we're making these conduit facades. Well, a couple of things about these. First of all, you can place them freestanding, doesn't matter. And as you can tell, they look just like the block we made them from. Now, something else that's cool about these guys is if we come over here to our item conduits that we have all on the inner side here. You see all of these where it's like a huge mess? We can now cover this so that it looks completely normal. And now you literally can't even tell that I have anything there. So that was pretty much the biggest thing that we've been needing to tackle for a while now. The only thing that gives it away is the fact that the tooltip obviously says conduit facade at the top, but everything else about this maintains its usual functionality. So if I tossed, like, thermodynamics isn't really whitelisted, but if I toss these things in here, it should know where to put most of these things. And if I take this and do this, so we should be good to go here as far as, concrete prioritized immersive engineering. What I'm probably going to do, and this is the other cool thing, is if you hold the Yeta wrench, it'll make it so that you can access the conduits within. So you don't have to break the conduit facade every single time. You can just hold your wrench and still access the conduit within. So this, I believe, one of these... Yeah, this is my mod item filter. I'm going to set the priority to -1. That way all these other ones have a normal priority and that one has a lesser one. So that if I try to sort concrete again, it should actually go into not this chest, but this one. I'm assuming it did. We'll just take out the concrete and put it back in and see where it goes. Yep, it went straight there. Awesome. So, obviously a couple of the downsides of the sorting system we have right now is that most mod items are not going to get sorted because it's kind of hard. I'm weird about my categorization, but it's very hard to determine that this chest is what it should be or has what it should have in it. The easiest way to solve this is to either have one chest that catches literally everything, or have several storage devices that all are meant for various things. So have one chest for 3 mods and another one for 3 different mods, and you see my point. And you could totally do that, but I'm not really bothered to do that. It's not really worth my time. So, next up, I want to handle our situation over here. Remember how I was talking about this, wanting this to be automated? Well, we can still do that, and we still should. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab probably 24 redstone, glowstone, and gold. Make about 24 of our necessary alloy. Because if we make this alloy real quick, we can get a decent handful of the energy conduits. So remember how we talked about the energy conduits before? These are nice because you can bundle conduits together. So you can have item conduits and energy conduits in the same space, and it works completely perfectly. This will work out to our advantage because we want this stuff to be able to kind of be multifaceted. And I would expect, although it may cause problems, we'll see. We've got to play with it a little bit. It seems perfectly reasonable to expect that having the item conduits beneath and having the energy conduits beneath, the energy conduits should be able to connect to the flux duct and get power from them, I think. So it's actually a new moon, which means that mobs are going to spawn tonight. I'm going to go out and fight some mobs because I need some ender pearls. That wasn't exactly greatly beneficial to the supply, but it definitely helped a little bit. And so we got a couple other drops as well. Some more of these slowness arrows and just some various oddities here and there. And some more skulls. The Enderman skulls are actually going to be useful at some point, I promise. So I guess at this point what we need to be looking at is getting the ore processing automated. So that's kind of what I was hoping we would do next, and I definitely think we should stick with that. So we're going to grab our conduit binder. Of course it would rain on the one night that I didn't sleep, or after the one night that I didn't sleep. And we can come over here and grab our energetic alloy, which is now finished. And what we're going to do is make a whole bunch of these enhanced energy conduits. So that'll get us another achievement that'll pass through basic and advanced energy. And what I'm curious about is what's going to happen. First of all, we kind of want to have a cross-link here, right? Because these two are going to be interfacing with each other in a sense. And so, yeah, so this is what I'm worried slash curious about is what's going to happen when I hook up an energy conduit to the edge of this flux duct. Nothing. Nothing is going to happen. Okay, so what this means is that we need to make an energy or a basic capacitor, at least a basic capacitor, but we need to make a capacitor for sure. So the capacitor banks are pretty neat. They're multi-block energy storage structures, and they're not the worst to make. Okay. I really thought this was going to be just the worst thing in the world. But it is going to require more grains of infinity, so I'm going to have to cut real quick and go get some more, just because it's just a very boring process. You literally just light bedrock on fire and wait. So I'm going to go set bedrock on fire, and I'll be back once things get a little more interesting. Alright, so now we have 40 grains of infinity, which is way more than we had before. Very nice. And so we want to make 2 capacitor banks. So we're going to have to make eight capacitors. And there we go. That gives us 2 of these capacitor banks. Now these are the lowest tier, so they're not going to be very impressive, but I don't imagine we're going to be using more than 1,000 RF per tick. If each one of these uses at most 30, so 30, 60, 90, 120, and each one of these uses at most... I don't feel like that's right. I really don't. Oh well, even if they use twice that, I don't think it's really going to have a big effect on it. So, is that going to work? That seems to be working. There we go. So if I hook this up here as an input, you'll see the little gauge in the front will sort of display progress as far as power goes. I am going to push this back a block, though. Same goes for this one. And you'll see these guys retain their energy when broken. So I'm going to set this guy also to be an input on the back. And we're going to say the front should be an output. And we'll put that on the side, I guess. Although we really don't need that at all, because we don't care about our input or output. I mean, we know that input's probably maxed out at 1,000, I'm betting. But now we should be able to hook up a conduit to that. Yay! Okay, so, and will these guys receive energy? I'm hoping the answer is yes, but I don't actually know. Let me go grab some cobblestone, because you can pulverize cobblestone. If I grab this guy, it really is just using 30 RF. That blows my mind. I really thought that would be using more. But as you can see, it's definitely keeping filled on both ends here. Both of these are staying filled, so that's awesome. And we can do the same over here. So I actually ended up making a bunch more energy conduits than I needed, but that's fine. Now, like I said, these can be bundled with item conduits, remember? Boom. Magic. So we can hook up both of these on the same face of a block and not have to worry about the logic behind how that's going to work. We can just do this, and we're good. This is it. This is all you have to do. So this is pretty cool, just for the sake of, you know, not having to worry about this kind of stuff. So we're going to break down here in the middle, and I'm going to go grab a crate. I think I have a couple extra crates. We're going to need 2 crates probably, one for input and one for output. Logically, we would actually do a double crate for the output because technically the output should be twice the size of the input, but we'll get to those technicalities later. So we'll do output and input probably like that. And then just dig straight over like so. And do the same here. So this is going to be the output. Okay, cool. So remember we had our item conduits, and we can put those here. Don't worry about how this is going to look, because we can obviously cover that up with a facade. And in fact, I'm just going to dig out this entire area for now, and then just deal with the consequences of that as they come. Very cool. So now we have our input from this crate and our output into this crate, but we need to configure all of these little knobbies and such. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this guy to extract on channel white, round robin enabled. We want to round robin this. So what we want round robin to do is basically round robin says one for you, one for you, one for you, one for you. Starts to the back. One for you, one for you, one for you, one for you. So it'll rotate and evenly distribute our supplies out of this chest or crate. We will say extract always active, so that way anytime something's in there it'll get extracted. And for this guy we want to say insert on white and disable extraction. And by the way, if you shift and use if you sneak and use your scroll wheel while holding the Yeta wrench, you can tell the Yeta wrench to hide certain things or only show certain things. So for example, if we wanted to see everything, then we could do the check mark. If we want to see nothing, we'll do the X. Item conduits, fluid conduits, energy conduits, redstone conduits, and me conduits. I think that's just conduit facade hiding, and then, yeah. So I'm doing specifically the item conduit mode. That way we only see item conduits, which is exactly what we want. So we're actually going to also have to extract. So we'll extract on black, always active. So we'll set these all the same. So we'll insert and extract black, always active. Insert white, extract black, always active. Insert white, extract black, and always active. And we can round robin the extraction on these as well. That way they get evenly distributed to all the furnaces. So because of that, we're going to want to insert on black and extract on, we can just do red. So we want to insert on black, extract on red, always active, always active. Insert on black, extract on red, always active. Insert on black, extract on red, always active. And then insert on red, and no extraction. And I think that's actually done. So in theory, if I throw in a whole bunch of cobblestone in here, and I tell all of these guys to be insert and extract on the bottom, and if I tell this guy's insert priority, actually, you know, we could do... I'm thinking about how we can handle this. So you'll notice everything went to this guy first just because it was the first one I enabled. But we're evenly-ish distributed amongst all of these things. What I'm worried about right now is this this off chance. So we're actually extracting on black. Over here we're inserting on red, but I'm wondering if we can insert on black as well. And then have black on a lower priority. I'm thinking we should. So what we'll do, so sometimes we'll get a byproduct that we can't smelt. A great example here is our gravel. Gravel can't be smelted. So what are we going to do with that, right? You've got to figure out what to do with it now. You've got it, so what now? What we can do is tell this guy no extraction. We want to insert on black with a priority of -1. And now everything else is going to have higher priority, and all we have to do is make sure that these furnaces can keep up with the extraction rate of these pulverizers, which they should, and if that's the case, then we're good. So all I'm going to do now is make a whole bunch of conduit facades. We're going to need, actually, I don't need to make a whole bunch. I just need three of them. We're going to make 3 conduit facades. We want 2 and 1. No, we want 2. What do we want? No, we need a 4th. We need a 4th. That was really confusing for a second. So concrete tile 2 and then those 2. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and get those working. And if you ever decide that you want to remove or change a facade, you totally can. You don't have to keep it the way that they are. You can repaint them, so you don't have to stick with your initial decision on a certain facade. So we're going to make these 2 conduit facades, and you notice that they connect the textures with all the chisel stuff. This is part of why I like conduit facades as much as I like the covers from thermodynamics. They're all pretty much at the point now where they can do connected textures, which is phenomenal if you ask me. And so now, if I... last thing I'm going to do is come down here and just light this area up some, so that way we have conjure... Actually, I don't think I need to. I think the arcane lamp has beat me to it. Pretty sure. Let me just confirm that if I cover this, yep, still dark, or still light. So we're good. There you go. That was actually relatively painless, don't you think? So, so far we're not too bad off. We have a little bit of sand over here for some reason. I don't actually know why. Yeah, I don't have any idea why that's the way it is. Well, at some point we might filter that for the exact outputs we're expecting. Until then, not really something I'm going to stress over. But yeah, the nice thing about this is we can make a whole bunch of glass and a whole bunch of ore processing completely automatic now. So unfortunately, there's no real connect between the house and here yet. Spoiler alert, that's what I want to work on next, is getting a solution for that. So there's a fun thing that we can make that will handle that for us, and we could do a couple of different ways. We could conveyor it over, we could minecart it over, but at this point I think we're well enough into the technical age of this that we should just go ahead and move straight to an ender chest from ender storage. So ender chests are a bunch of blaze rods, which I have a handful of, and they're, let's see, chest, I think I've got 1, and we can grab another. I got any? Nope. Okay, cool. And we're going to need some wool. I think I have some wool. And some obsidian. So if we want to make our ender chest colored, which I think we should, we can go ahead and save ourselves some dye and do it now. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some light gray dye and dye these light gray. That way we can end up with some savior of dye. Otherwise this would take 6 light gray dye, and I'm just too impatient for that. So for now we can put this here. We can get out our simple little guy here, and this ender chest, if I open the other one as well, so you see, like, if we had 2 of these, if I open both of them, they're synchronized inventories, right? That's why they both open at the same time. So in essence, what we can do, this is the cool part here, if I run back over to the warehouse, and this is our extract chest, so if I jumped down here, put down the ender chest here, and copied this setting, so this is extract round robin enabled on white, extract on white, round robin enabled, always active. And that means that anytime I put anything at all in that ender chest, it will also get processed over here. So, like, we currently have a couple of, since we currently have a couple of pieces of cobblestone that aren't really quite done yet, we can go ahead and toss in the cobblestone here, and you'll see it's already getting extracted over there. And we can just hop back over here and watch it as it happens. So you see all of these guys are full up again, which they weren't before. So they're all up at 40, and now they'll probably end up at 44. Oh, I guess it's done already. Makes sense. So yeah, once we start getting more of the geolysis ore clusters, we can start automatically processing them. And in fact, because all of the geolysis ores are the same, the clusters are all the same metadata, so if I just grab one of these, grab our advanced filter that we have, come over here and say insert with an advanced filter, and I think all of these are on the white channel, right? Because we're extracting on white. Yep. So if I insert on white with this filter, we can specifically whitelist, ignoring metadata, ignoring MBT, ignoring damage, ignoring everything else, or dictionary enabled iron cluster. So what's going to happen is if I toss this in here, the iron cluster is going to go over here. Right now it's just chilling because there's no place for it to go. Now what's going to happen, you might be wondering, if I grabbed a different type of cluster? Well, let's go get one, because like I said, they're all the same item with different metadata. So if we just grab a different item, or the same item but different metadata. I'm trying to find something. Of course, the one time that I'm looking for anything and I don't find it. Here we go, some bauxite. If I grab some bauxite, I should be able to sort these guys, and they are also going to go in here, because again, they're all the same item with different metadata. So now we have automatic ore processing handled. The only thing is that it doesn't come back, and that's kind of a problem. But as you might imagine, Ender storage can solve that problem too. So the cool thing that we can do now is make 2 more ender chests. This time we're going to do them, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to make an ender chest, or 2 ender chests, and an ender pouch. The pouch is also a piece of redstone. We're going to need 3 pieces of leather. We're going to need some blaze powder, which I think I picked up some cinder pearls at some point. Maybe not. And we're going to need some wool. I'm also going to try to get some cyan dye. Looks like we can totally do that. We're going to need 2 more chests. So if I make 2 more ender chests, we'll make these cyan. What we can do is we can break this guy. Remember, this is our sorting chest, so if we break this and replace it with an ender chest, that means that we can now sort with an ender chest, which is kind of an interesting concept. If you think about it, it's kind of a, you know, oh, well, why would you want to do that kind of thing? Well, what if we wanted this guy to be an ender chest as well? So now, if we toss this stuff in here, this input should actually get sorted instead. So now, if we're coming over here, we're going to see that we're going to get a bunch of glass. So this means that our input and our output is completely remote, but completely functional. So we can also take our blaze powder here. We can also take our blaze powder here. We can also take our blaze powder from our sag mill, and we can craft ourselves an ender pouch. And the ender pouch can be used to hook up to an ender chest. See? So now we have the ability to magically store this stuff remotely, which means next time I end up with a full inventory, I'm not actually in any trouble. I can just handle it and move on. So yeah, definitely some pretty cool, useful stuff. So in the future, when we have, like, for example, we have all this stuff right now. If I just wanted to put it away in one simple swoop, most of this stuff should be handled. There is some stuff that I question, but most of it should be able to go somewhere. And so with that, we can actually, you know, remotely clean up our inventories a little bit. Even if it means that it's going in the wrong chest back at home, it's better than having a full inventory that keeps us from being able to do anything. So this is definitely a nice alternative next time we have a full inventory for sure. So we can put this bag in our backpack for now. I don't really know when the next time I'll need it will be, but of course it's pretty, you know, pretty normal for someone to need storage, extra storage, at least in Minecraft. The inventory has not nearly enough slots considering all the things that you can do nowadays. So let's come over here and see what's ended up where. So we don't know where eggs or aluminum ingots go. Aluminum definitely should have gotten handled. Merge, show. See, I feel like this isn't going to handle everything. Like, what if I threw in tin? I feel like these might be a little buggy. If I take my tin and put it in here, where's that going to go? No, that is going in the right place. So why didn't aluminum go in the right place? Aluminum's going to go where now? Okay, so that is going to go in the right place now, I guess. And that should also have worked better than it did. So I might just go ahead and do merge for all of these. That way these all at least kind of sort of work. Sometimes they're not quite perfect, so, you know, can't really complain. All right. Well, I think we can call it an episode there. We definitely have gotten quite a lot done with our remote sorting and our remote ore processing. Kind of offloading everything over into that chunk for sure definitely helps. So this is pretty cool. And in the future, if we want something that just gets smelted or pulverized, smelted, and then returned, we can just toss it in this chest, and it'll come back to this chest and get sorted. So I think that's really neat. I don't know what I'm going to do next, but probably get back into some of the magic stuff in the future. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one.